The idea of home buying has been out of the reach of many for a while now. The desire for a new house, one built to the buyer's unique specifications, will almost assuredly be in the price point of only the most affluent buyers. The next best choice for many is the subdivision tract home, where the developers offer 3 to 5 different floor plans, and a limited list of additional amenities that can be included for an upcharge over the base price. Still, though, even with those savings, buying into a subdivision with limited number of choices, the prices are still out of reach for many. If bespoke construction is not a viable consideration and cookie-cutter tract homes lack the overall appeal of what a buyer is looking for, there is a third option: purchasing an existing home in an established neighborhood. Probably the biggest advantage of buying an older home is that the neighborhood has been around long enough that any HOA, if there ever was one, has long since disappeared. Most deed restrictions have sunset clauses, which means that you'll be able to do what you want on your property as long as it's within local codes. Many of the pluses of buying an older home will be unique woodwork that would cost a small fortune to recreate today. Larger, often unique windows, allowing for lots of natural light and airflow. True oak hardwood floors as opposed to laminate flooring. A large front porch as opposed to a small stoop at the front door. Sturdier construction with plaster and lath walls or 3/4 inch versus 1/2 inch drywall used today. Many older homes have full-size attics with ceilings that a 6-foot tall man can stand up in that are easily accessible, offering tons of storage space. There are, however, certain downsides to purchasing an older home that shouldn't be overlooked unless it is a case of love at first sight, in which case the buyer will not be overly bothered by some of the issues that older homes present. Look for a house in an area that has not already or is starting to gentrify. Gentrification will quickly price homes back out of reach, but by all means, avoid buying a house in the hood. Some realtors will push houses in a neighborhood that they say will be the next area to gentrify, which may be true. But in the meantime, you have some pretty sketchy neighbors to deal with. Let's talk about the floors. Those beautiful oak hardwood floors. I love them. I won't deny it. But they need to be resanded and revarnished every so often. I would suggest doing this before moving in while the house is empty and using a very high quality durable finish when doing it. Once you're moved in, refinishing the floors one room at a time means having to find some place for all of that room's furnishings to go while doing the floor. Also, the sanding process will create a fair bit of dust, which can be troublesome to say the least. Now let's look at those big, large, beautiful windows. In older homes, these will most likely be single pane, with the insulating value that one would expect. They keep wind and rain out, but aren't all that good at keeping the heat in. They can always be replaced with double pane energy efficient new windows, but because they are large windows meant to let in lots of natural light, they are almost certainly not going to be of any modern standard size, and in some cases shape, and will be more expensive to replace. Of course, for the most part, those windows are on the walls. And those walls can be unique problems all by themselves. Plaster and lath walls can be hard to work with if you want to add a door to a larger room. Walls with 3/4 inch drywall present the problem that pre-hung windows and doors that you buy at the big box hardware centers are all made for walls with 2x4 milled studs covered with 2 sheets of 1/2 inch drywall. and those doors will not be able to fill the hole properly. Luckily, with doors at least, custom ordered pre-hung doors are only slightly more expensive than standard doors, but will take about a week or two to arrive. And while we're talking about the walls, it should be remembered that back in the days, they didn't put a lot of insulation in those walls. Spray and insulation can remedy that, but beware, as I can personally attest. Those walls were also built to let heat out in the summer. It's not hard to over-insulate the walls and ceilings and turn your cozy and warm home in the winter into a real oven in the summer. That would be very hard to keep cool. What may have been standard wood trim back in the day may end up being nearly impossible to match exactly today. You can usually come close, though, and only your anal Aunt Nellie's really going to notice. Homes built before the 1940s may have knob and tube wiring, with two bare wires, one hot and one return, running through tubes and around knobs in the walls and ceiling. This system is still legal if it was installed correctly, but can make adding outlets difficult. It is also the bane of all electronic devices since it only has a hot and neutral wire and no ground wire and no way to add a ground. Heating and air conditioning in older homes can sometimes be a crapshoot, but almost all the gravity-fed furnaces have been replaced with some sort of forced air system. Home boiler radiator systems can still be found in homes where their construction does not lend itself easily to installing ductwork. A good home inspector will make you aware of any deficiencies in plumbing and electrical services. There is nothing like the surprise of finding out that every time you use the microwave in the kitchen, that the lights in the master bedroom upstairs go out. It's money well spent to hire your own home inspector, just to make sure that the inspector the bank sent actually got out of his car when he was doing his inspection. This happened to a nephew of mine who was all set to buy his dream home, right up to the point where the inspector he personally hired found carpenter ant damage throughout the house. Home ownership is the American dream for many, and purchasing an older home can give you the pleasure of home ownership and the chance to keep the original owner's dream home alive and well for years to come. Well, that's it for today. It would be great if you would like and subscribe. Feel free to have a go at me in the comment section. And if you really like what I'm doing here, feel free to visit my Patreon page so that I can bring you even higher quality material. So long, stay safe, and drink one for me.